What is up, everyone, and welcome to the video I've promised you yesterday. A little bit more in-depth view on the Owl clan and what you can expect from it, playing against it, or if you plan on getting it, how to play it. I'm more gonna get into the different mechanics that the clan has, and I think I'm gonna do a little bit of a build order video tomorrow for the most overpowered build, let's say, for the Owl clan. And here you can already see what I think of the clan right now. I think it is really strong. You cannot play it in ranked yet, so you don't have to worry about like losing any glory points playing against the Owl clan. But it is extremely strong and also pretty fun to play. So yeah, if you want to have a little bit of a view in it, we're gonna jump into it right now. First of all, you can see right here, difficulty to learn, development, military support, everything 2 stars. So yeah, should be relatively easy to learn it, everything of that, even though you should always take these with a little bit of a grain of salt, because it always depends on how you play the clan and how strong it's gonna be in the different branches. A few things I want to talk about before we actually jump into the game is that forest and other sources of wood provide lore instead of wood, because you have no accessibility, like you can't access wood at all. You don't have wood in your resources up there. You cannot use wood in any shape or form. Everything you're gonna do is gonna happen with lore. You're gonna build buildings with lore, you're gonna take your lores with lore, and yeah, lore is just everything this clan cycles around. So wood is just not gonna be important for you, so forest also is just gonna give you lore at that point. The other things we're gonna talk about later. One thing that is still pretty important is that deer and fish do not provide any food for you. So you're not able to build a fisherman's hut or a hunter's lodge at all. So if you go for these tiles, they're going to give you a little bit of happiness, but you're not going to have anything to do with these 2 buildings. And the only food you can get is out of fertile land. If you now think about, oh my god, what happens if I have a spawn without a fertile land? Don't worry, there's still a way to build your farm and get your food production running, and you're not gonna have problems with that, most likely. So yeah, that is something to talk about before, definitely. We can already talk about the fame bonuses too. Like on 200 fame, you can explore and place your branches of Yggdrasil in enemy territory, and this is gonna be needed because there are a few branches that you're gonna need to build on enemy territory to get the full effect of it. On 500 fame, zones can contain an additional branch of Yggdrasil, which are basically the branches you need to build to actually gain access of your lores. We're gonna see that later when we jump into the game very soon. And better relations with a clan make owl knowledges in their territory stronger. How much stronger, I can't actually tell you, because there are different branches, and I think the numbers for them are different. If somebody of you has deeper information on that, please just put them down into the comments. I can right now only tell you that they make them stronger. I cannot tell you if it's like 50%, 75%, or whatever. I don't have an exact number of that. Just keep in mind that they make them stronger, and the more important thing about this is that you can actually build 2 branches in a single tile, which can get pretty important, because oftentimes you're just gonna run out of space to actually put all your branches in to actually take the effect of them. The other thing I want to talk about is the relic of the Owl clan, because in our little preview here, I'm not going to be able to actually build the relic. So we're going to see that the upgraded zones grow a forest and attract deer and fish. You cannot take advantage of the deer and fish, so they're just gonna give you happiness. But on top of that, you get actually also gonna get more happiness out of them. So it should be a pretty strong happiness relic you can go for here. And I can imagine that rushing the relic with the Owl clan can also be pretty beneficial. Not something we can try out here in this video, but something you are very free to try out for yourself. I can imagine that there's pretty strong builds with the relic around that you can also take advantage of. One thing we are also not gonna be able to do right here is the Guardian of the Realms. This is basically a way to get a gigantic Titan. A very, very, very strong unit. I can tell you in the beta I were able to try it out against a Zerker, like a fully buffed Zerker, with everything you can basically imagine what a Berserker you can get onto him. Fight in a 1v1 against the Giant, and the Giant crushed the Zerker. So you can imagine this Giant is extremely strong, and if you're able to get your hands on it like relatively early, you're gonna destroy. And even in late game, it's a very, very helpful unit that you can send out with your army, and that will definitely decide fights in your favor if you can get it at the right timing. So with that, I guess we're not gonna talk around too much here and jump straight into the game. One specialty that we didn't talk about right now, what you can also see there, is that you're gonna spawn with a Seed of Yggdrasil. The Seed of Yggdrasil is your scout camp, basically, in which you can convert Norns. Free at a time, it can never get more. It will always be free. Oftentimes you would wish you would have more, but free is the number that you're always gonna be on. You can only turn women into Norns, just like on the Kraken clan. You don't have to worry though. I have played a lot of different owl spawns, and I can tell you that on every single owl spawn I was spawning with free women, so I were able to instantly go for free scouts if I wanted to. And usually I can tell you, you want to. Because the owl Norns are not only able to scout territory, how you can see right here, you are also able to go for lore buildings outside of your territory. So especially if you have the Sword of God spawning, which it doesn't seem that we have right now, you can send your Norns right onto them and yeah, start working the lore on it. And keeping in mind that lore is something that you need to do basically anything in with the owl clan, yeah, can be really, really important. So try to get your Norns out really, really quickly. Try to scout the territory around you and put them on lore buildings so your lore production goes up, because all of your buildings will cost lore instead of wood. You can see right here, the house will cost me 10 gold and 37 wood, which is 80% of the price that you would usually pay for the normal building. So we just built the house over here, bang bang, because we're gonna need it relatively soon. To make it a little bit clearer, you can see right here the longship dock would usually cost 80 wood. Right here it costs 60 lore. It could be relatively hard to get onto all that lore, but with your Norns it's gonna be a little bit easier. One thing that you might wondering is there's no upgrade button. What do I do? How do I actually scout enemy territory with my Norns? This will be able, you will be able to do that automatically as soon as you reach 200 fame. As soon as you got 200 fame, your Norns can explore and place the branches of Yggdrasil in enemy territory. That is actually wrong. Yeah, I don't think it's actually specified in here, right? But yeah, not specified in here, but I can tell you as soon as you reach 200 fame, you're gonna be able to scout enemy territories. Probably a question a lot of you ask themselves, because it's not specified anywhere as far as I can see. But it is possible. Just reach 200 fame and you're gonna be able to scout enemy territory. We got a little bit lucky here with a circle of stones, because that means our Norns can now go for the circle of stone and they're gonna be able to scout that. One more thing, if I am going for this tile over here, taking it, and as soon as I took control of the tile, my Norn will not be able to go for the lore stone anymore. So as soon as I took the tile, he's gonna be... That is a bug. There we go. Yeah. Now she doesn't want to work there anymore because, yeah, not able to go for lore sources that are within your territory. So the only thing you can do is send the lore master on it and do it like that. So and now also go for the ancient graveyard here. Ancient graveyard, also a lore source, so that means I can just send Norns right onto it and yeah, go for it. One thing I'm just gonna do really quickly here is build one of these branches, because we're gonna need that later on. We're gonna talk about the lores very, very soon though. Right now, I'm just gonna take my Norns, put them all onto lore, And yeah, we're gonna have an extremely strong lore production really early into the game, because I have 3 Norns already running. Bang, bang, bang. All going pretty hard. And we have our lore master over here, and we already dipping up to plus 14 lore production, which is really, really strong. So right now, let's talk about the lore tree, I guess. There's something special about it. First thing is, of course, it is circular. It is not like the branches like you would know before, like linear branches. You now have a circular branch, and you can only go for a lore if you went for the one before. Like the first ones, of course, are these 3 here. You can easily go for these. All of these are gonna cost you 60 lore if you go for them. And then you have the next ring, which is basically all lores will cost you 120 lore. It's the next branch here. If you're gonna go one further out, this is one right here, all the lores will cost you 240 lore. So it's gonna get more and more expensive. With here, we have the 360 lore, relatively expensive lores, and this is basically your god lores, which are gonna enhance your Warchiefs, which we're gonna get into later. They're gonna cost 480 lore, and they should be the strongest branches you can go for. Every time you go for one of these branches, you can see, you click them, you could see me doing that before. If I place it right now somewhere, I'm gonna get the effect of this branch. There are different types of branches. This branch over here that we built is the iron wood. The iron wood progressively collects ores in the zone for your clan or a favorable clan owning the zone. So I built it right here in a tile that I don't even own, but I'm slowly mining the iron out of this tile with this branch. So the best thing you can do is basically place it far away from a territory in a tile with some mineral in it that you're very, very unlikely to actually reach with your territory expansion. And sometimes you will maybe even be able, like just imagine the opposing base would be right here. You can be able to steal a little bit of iron from them. Keep in mind that as soon as they colonize this tile, this effect will stop. So you will not be able to get anything out of that anymore. They are also able to destroy your branch, even though with this one it doesn't make all too much sense, because as soon as they went for the tile, your production will stop. You will not steal any resources anymore. But if they have a favorable relationship to you, so as soon as they have a good relationship, this branch will start to mine again, but not for you, but they will get the resources. So if you have a teammate with good relations towards you, you can also build the branch on their tile and give them the resources, basically. So you can help your teammates with that out, which can be really, really good. This is a branch I can build outside of my territory, and it will affect me. There are also other branches, for example, this one over here, I can also build that in other ones. Which was here? Yeah, shipbuilding. Shipbuilding is one that you know, just a normal lore. If I build it over here, you can see this knowledge won't have any effect in this zone. The little yellow text down below there. You can also already see it on the coloring of the zones. Like all the yellow zones I can place it in, it will not help me at all. But if I place it in this territory over here, it will actually start helping me. So this is one of these. Yeah, let's talk about the different branches of the tree, because you know usually you have the upper lore tree, the middle lore tree, and the lower lore tree. They are still present here. They just look different. So the first tree is basically the might tree, which would be the military tree. All the lores with a red underlay, let's say, are might lores. You can also see it left. Like here you see creeping vines, and on the left side there's might. That will tell you this is one of the might tree. This could get pretty important for different Warchief abilities. I don't want to foreshadow too much, but you can imagine can be pretty important. Right here we have the growth tree. All the green underlaid ones, which would be your top lore tree usually. And the lower lore tree would be the wealth lore tree. It's everything that is bluely underlaid. We will have new lores in between there, but also lores that you know already, like eradication, colonization. These are all lores that you should already know. And yeah, we are not going to talk about too much right here. But let's talk about the new ones. The one, Ironwood, you already know about, is like we build a branch and we slowly gonna mine the resources out of that tile, only minerals, of course. The other thing would be hypnotic spores. Your clan improves their relation with any faction that has units in this zone, yeah, by plus 0.6. So I could take this branch. We don't have any neutrals around here now, but if there would be neutrals, I could place this branch onto the tile and I would increase my relations with them by plus 0.6. It got nerfed a little bit from the beta because it were way too strong, but I already had a try where I were able to get the giants in the winter 2803. Which is not super yeah, fast, honestly. But I only got it with a little bit of trading with them, so I didn't went all in on the trading with the giants, but just at the point where I felt like, okay, I want to get some gold anyway, and I were able to go for the trading caravan over here. And yeah, can help you to get the giant relatively quickly. Good thing is you don't need to put that much in it. You just pay the 120 lore once, and then it's gonna generate over time. One thing I forgot about is that if you, for example, oh no, here this branch, I don't really want it anymore, or for example, the iron has been mined out completely, I can also choose to destroy the branch right here. Bang. Not gonna take any effect of it anymore though. But if I then decide to rebuild it, I can rebuild it for half the cost. So before, every lore of this first step here, first tier, usually cost me 60 lore. Right now, it only costs me 30 lore, and I can just build it over here. And now I'm gonna start mining in this tile. So you can rebuild these, which can get pretty important. So we now have the hypnotic spores. The next thing in the wealth tree would be invasive fruits. When placed in another clan's territory, your clan has access to one of their unique knowledges. So you can basically build it on another clan's tile to steal one of their knowledges, which can be extremely strong depending on which clan you are playing against. Just imagine like stealing the overcrowding of the Red clan or city builder of the Ox clan, which are just really strong lores. And if you're able to snatch a few of these, can be extremely strong. Keep that in mind. Stealing a lore is always great, and with invasive fruits you are able to make that happen. Also, the targeted clan gets 50% of your clan's lore production. Gotta keep that in mind. I think that is something that only comes into effect if the clan has favorable relationships with them, but maybe I'm understanding that wrong, but I think that is only a bonus they can get out of it if they have a favorable relation to it, or it is actually a downside. I think it actually yeah, only takes in effect when you have a good relation. If you have different information on that, like always, just put it down in the comments. I would be really hyped to know. Our clan is now pretty new for us all. And yeah, I would love to know as much as I can about the clan. So if you have any idea on how that works, or if that's different, like I said here, put it down into the comments. Would be hyped to know. So these are all the unique lores out of the wealth tree. Let's look at the might tree. The first one is healing herbs. Heal all units in the zone outside of combat. I think this is pretty straightforward. Put it here. All of my units will start healing. Pretty insane. Can of course be used to maybe do some early game clearing or anything. One thing I can definitely tell you that it works basically like the healing of shamans and yeah, of the Red clan basically. It doesn't work like the healing of the Eagle clan. The Eagle clan, for example, has a healing that says every unit, the number is not exactly right, but just for the yeah, for the general system, that all your units heal for 1% per second. So all the units heal per 1% of their health bar per second, basically. So it doesn't matter how many units I have in the tile, they will all heal at the same speed because it's basically a unit-based healing effect. The branch over here works like the Red clan shamans. It means this has a certain amount of healing, so it says like I'm gonna heal 5 HP per minute. Number is completely wrong, of course, but just for the idea. I'm gonna heal 5 HP per minute. So if I have 1 villager in there, it's gonna heal 5 HP per minute. If I have 5 villagers in there, they're only gonna heal 1 HP per minute. So the effect doesn't stack, let's say, for multiple units, but you're only gonna be able to heal a certain amount with it to not make it too strong. And I think this is also the right decision, because yeah, otherwise it would just get a little bit too strong. The next thing would be the protection rune carving. Your military units gain plus 0.15 defense per law production building and forests under your control. So definitely scales with the amount of lore buildings you have, and I can tell you that resistance is a really big thing in Northgard, because resistance actually works I think counter exponentially, like the opposite of exponentially, because the first resistance points you get, if I get this villager to 4 resistance out of like it has 3 right now, and I get it to 4, the effect is going to be a lot bigger than if I have a unit that has 10 resistance already and I get it up to 11. So the smaller the number, the more the effect will actually be that you put on top of it. So this lore can be extremely strong if you, for example, have a huge army of axe throwers. All these axe throwers having 1 more defense, for example, is pretty strong, and it's going to be a lot stronger than having 1 more defense on your shield bearers, which already have 6 resistance. So yeah, makes a big difference, especially based on your unit choice. Like warriors and axe throwers are definitely going to benefit the most out of it, because they have relatively low resistance from the start. So the next one would be the creeping vines. Your clan's units gain 15% attack power in the presence of the units in the zone's owner. So if I have an opponent's zone, basically, and I build this tile on this branch on an opponent's tile, as soon as he enters with military units, I get a 15% attack bonus. You can also replace this branch. So you can basically use that to push slowly towards your opponent and always have an attack bonus against them, which is especially important because there's no weaponsmith in here. I think most of you already know about the importance of weaponsmith because of the Squirrel clan, because the Squirrel clan is basically military more or less useless because you don't have the weaponsmith, so you're more or less just soaking up damage. This is not as much like that with the Owl clan, because the Owl clan just has really strong eco, so your number of army is going to be high enough to neglect that effect that you're not really going to have as strong of an army then. Like your single units are not going to be as strong, but the sheer amount of units are going to make quite a difference there. So this is the ones out of the might tree. Now we're gonna go into the growth tree, and there's one that is pretty important. You need fertile lands for your food production. We got lucky here. We have 1 fertile land. It might actually be that you are guaranteed 1 fertile land. I can't really say that. I saw a lot of them in my games, but I think I already had a spawn where I didn't have a fertile land. Might be wrong though. I think you're getting it very often, but I don't think it is straight up guaranteed. So what do you do then? You build the fertile soils. This is a branch which will create a fertile land in the zone and boost its production by 10%. So this one here is going to destroy it because we don't want to heal anymore. We actually want to farm. So we can build a branch over here, and just like that, we're building a farm in our main tile. This is actually something that is pretty legit in my opinion, because yeah, your main tile is always the tile with the most building slots. You're not wasting a building slot on your scout camp here, because this is basically just a building, like a base building that you're gonna start with. So you still have a lot of building slots on your main tile. So having the farm in there, I think, can be really beneficial, especially in combination with your chief's effects that we're gonna learn about very soon. For that, we are already gonna build a little war camp over there. So, the next one would be terraforming ground. That means your clan benefits from the zone's passive effect, even though you're not going for it. So, just to being able to do it, I'm just gonna build this one over here. And then we're gonna go for the terraforming ground and build it on the tile over here. I gotta break that down because I also placed one over here. We're gonna get 4 happiness now out of this Gazier tile, even though we haven't even gone for it. So, also pretty strong. Terraforming ground, building a branch over here on the Gazier tile, or a Force Raft tile, for example. You would get the attack bonus out of that. I think it's pretty strong going for that, and yeah, probably one of the stronger branches in the Owl Clan's repertoire, and I feel like something you're gonna make use of pretty often. Other thing would be the parasitic vegetables. Your clan periodically reveals the resources of the faction owning the zone and gains resources for every 100 in their stock. Working units in the zone consume minus 33% fewer resources. So, if I build that on an opposing zone, a zone of an opponent, it will really slowly, in my opinion. Like, I saw the timer going off and I didn't think it were that fast, honestly. But you will periodically not steal resources from them, but get resources based on the amount of resources they have. I think this is more something for free-for-all than anything, because in a team game, I think the procs are just not fast enough to actually make it worth, because the amount of lore you're putting into there is 360. That is quite a bit of lore you're putting into there, even though your production can be really potent. Yeah, in a free-for-all environment, I could imagine this being really strong, especially if your opponent doesn't break it down. If you are playing against the Owl Clan and you see this one being placed on your territory, I would definitely try to break it down with the villagers. It doesn't work like here, you just destroy the building and it's gone. You actually got to put a villager on top of it, and it's going to take some time until it is broken down. So for you, it is also an investment to destroy it. So as the Owl Clan player, I would try to build it, like, place it down relatively often, even though when you build it the second time, it's only going to cost you 180, so it's going to be a little bit cheaper. But even if you don't get the proc out of it, so you basically don't get the resources out of it, you're at least stalling your opponent by him needing to put villagers on there and destroying the branch again and again if you place it. I think the best case scenario for you would be if the opponent just doesn't really know what it is and doesn't really do anything against it, and you can just get the full reaps benefit out of this branch. If you want to know which brand it is, if you are not playing the Owl Clan, just click on it and you will have a little bit of an idea here which one you have. And if it is the how's it called again, the parasitic vegetables, you should take action relatively soon and get it gone off your territory. So, is about the lore tree from the Owl Clan. Now we jump into the chiefs, which is also a pretty important thing, if not the most important thing of the Owl Clan. At the first chief, we have Skuld. First of all, we are not able to get multiple chiefs. We can only have one chief here. So, we got our chief. But if we would want to change our chief, we could do that by paying 50 lore, and I can basically transform it in all the different chiefs. Costs a lot of lore though. You shouldn't do what I just did, just cycling through them and look like which one you would like to prefer. You should have a good idea what you want to go for, but if you already gotten a chief, you don't need to like kill it or something to get a new one. You can just transform it into a different one, because this is the Transformer clan. Let's go. So, first one would be Skuld. Skuld is the youngest and most fearsome of the Norns. For each military knowledge unlocked, gains 5% attack power. Right now it's 5 because we only went for the I think it is the healing herbs. The more we would go for, the more attack power we actually have on her. See, bam. Now we have 10% bonus attack. Pretty cool, even though I think Skuld is still, in comparison to the other Norns we have right here, the weakest one of all of them. Maybe there's some rush strategy where you could like make good use of her stats, because the stats are the best, so it's definitely the strongest Warchief. But the effect of her is not the strongest one among the other Norns. Let's see the other ones. It's Verdandi. Verdandi is the middle sister. You can see the stats are a lot worse, but Verdandi, she boosts the production in the zone by 5% per growth knowledge unlocked. And we mean all production, right? So even if I take my farmers, put them over here, and we have only villagers in this tile. Nothing else. We have plus 26 right now. Bang, plus 35. Extremely strong. 20%. This is basically what the Bear Clan... No, the Bear Clan gets 15% for their War Chief over here. So we already have more of a boost than the Bear Clan would have with our Verdandi over here. And we can even get it higher. We can go for recruitment. Bang. Build it here. Doesn't work right now because I didn't went for the tile yet. But I'm already getting the percentage. So I don't get the recruitment effect right now because it's built on a tile that I don't control. But I still get my percentage bonus. So this is really, really, really strong. And I think also because of that reason, Verdandi probably the strongest war chief around. The last war chief we would have is Udr. Udr also not too bad. It will give you... Just read the text here. The older sister, Udr, uses her wisdom to lead the clan. She produces lore while inside her territory. Her production increases by 1 for each wealth knowledge unlocked. And currently we have 3 wealth lores unlocked. So we get 3 lore production out of her. Which can be pretty good, because even in combination with erudition and everything, the most important thing on the Owl Clan is trying to more or less explode your lore production. The higher your lore production is, the more buildings you will build, the more ham you will just go. You will spiral out of control pretty quickly if your lore production is high enough. So I can see Udr being one tool to make you able to just boost this economy, especially if you're not able to get a Circle of Stones, to not get an Ancient Graveyard, to not get a Mimiasbrunn, or the Sword of Gods in the middle, where you are able to also get a little bit of lore out of it. So I can see her being really, really strong, even though I think Verdandi just the strongest one, just because of the sheer amount of boost you can get out of her, which is just, in my opinion, extremely overpowered, and is most likely gonna change at some point. Yeah, this is not the only thing about the War Chiefs. They also have their Omega lores over here. They cost 480, and they are gonna improve your War Chiefs, yeah, basically by some effect that you can choose. Not that you can choose, but you can choose which War Chiefs ones you would like to have. For Verdandi, for example, it would be that she heals nearby units. I don't think there's too much to talk about it. I guess you can imagine how strong this can be if your War Chief just heals your units around you, can also help you at the front. And you gotta keep in mind, also at the front, you are able to just switch which War Chief you have. So maybe you're fighting with Skuld all the time, having a strong army. But then you want to heal your army because you had a fight right now and you have a lot of lows. Okay, switcheroo, we go to Verdandi. Now we heal all our units. Pretty versatile and pretty insane, even though I don't think it's going to be as easy to just branch everywhere into the tree. But if you have the ability to do that, I think it's going to be a pretty insane thing and, yeah, pretty versatile. Next thing would be the Source of Udanbudunur, which is Skuld's ability. Skuld gives nearby trained military units the bonuses of all the camps you have upgraded. So imagine if you upgraded a lot of shield bearer camps, the resistance of your shield bearers is going to be higher, and then the resistance of your axe throwers is also going to be higher. You see what I'm getting here again. Even in combination with the protection rune carving, you can make your axe throwers extremely tanky. Could also be your warriors, of course. And just having tanky axe throwers or warriors can make a big difference. Because if they don't die, they're just gonna dish out more damage all the time. So even keeping in mind that you're not having access to the weaponsmith lore, these different laws should really help you out to get an army which can be extremely scary even in the late game. Probably not going to be as powerful as the Ox army, for example, which can just have insane bonuses and is just really strong on their own, just because the villagers are a little bit stronger. Yeah, you're still going to be able to get a very fearsome army up. And yeah, be strong even in late game against these clans which excel around this point. The last War Chief bonus would be the Source of Mimiasbrunn. Udur will get this one, and it strengthens the effect of branches containing owl knowledges in her zone. So basically, if I have Udur, for example, we get Udur right now. Let's see if I have enough lore to make that happen. I think I sadly won't. This one, what is that one again? Fur coats. Yeah, we can break that one down, and we're really close. And we can get it really soon. But if I build that, she will strengthen the branch of whatever tile she is in right now. So for example, if you have the one that is in the neutral tiles, which strengthens your relationship, you can send her in that tile and strengthen the relationship as long as you are allowed to go into their territory, of course. Don't do that before, because if you go into the tile and attack them, you're of course going to deteriorate your relationship. Right here, we have this little flower here, because it's basically the Omega lore, how I like to call it. We build it over here. Doesn't matter in which tile it is built. It just needs to be built within your territory. And if I go into the tile with her right now, we got 31 lore production on top of that, because it strengthens the branch of Yggdrasil, which will now give me plus 20% instead of plus 10%. And see that right here in the blue number. Still think it's inferior to Verdandi, because she can just boost it by a lot more. So for this exact use case, I would just go for Verdandi. But if you have another thing that you want to enhance, just go for Udur, and yeah, you're gonna have a pretty good time with that. So with this, we talked about the Warchiefs, the different Warchiefs, which different effects you have with them on the base, and which are the best lores you can go for them. And yeah, enhance them even more. Talked about the lore tree, whatever you want to go for. The branches you can build wherever you want to. Keep in mind that for certain branches you will need to build them on your territory. So this recruitment here does not affect me right now, because it has not been built in my tile. This one, however, the terraforming ground, I built outside of my territory, and it will help me. So always got to keep in mind which one you build where, but you will also have an indicator if you go for them. I think we saw that before, like if I, for example, break down the shipbuilding one and I want to rebuild it over here, you can see that here we have the yellow one. Yeah, this won't have any effect in this zone, this won't have any effect in this zone, and here I can't build it because there's already a branch in there. So yeah, not going to be possible like that. So yeah, I hope that I could answer some questions surrounding the Owl Clan. If you want to know some strategy to play with the Owl Clan, I'm gonna do a little bit of a build order video for the strongest Owl build, I think, like I found around right now, which is basically around Vervandi and just boosting your territory up to a pretty insane amount. If you want to see that, stay tuned for tomorrow, because yeah, gonna release then. Other than that, I want to wish you a great rest of your day. Have a lot of fun with the Owl Clan. I've heard that the servers have a little bit of problems right now. So Shiro recommended that if you want to play the game right now in multiplayer, they recommend to play on public servers in the normal lobby system, or do straight up PvP, peer-to-peer games. This should still work, and yeah. There's a little bit of a bummer, of course, that it doesn't work right now, and yeah, you're not able to go with the matchmaking system right now, I've heard. Maybe you are able to do it, you should try it out, but if not, try to just steer over to public lobbies or yeah, some peer-to-peer games. I hope the problem will be solved relatively quickly so we can all play Northgard in multiplayer again, but yeah, there must be some bug going around with the matchmaking system, making that hard right now. Thanks for watching the video, everyone. I hope to see you back tomorrow to the Owl Clan build order that we're gonna see then. And yeah, thanks for coming in. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Maybe leave a sub if you want to see more content like this on this channel. And yeah, bye bye everyone. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.